Look at their stupid little eyes. I love them. This is so cute. We just defeated Kulex. Now it's time to recover and have a chat. With me today, I have Brad, the Margrave of Monstro Town.
Hello, everybody. I like the name. Also, who did we defeat?
Kulex. Or Kulex? I don't think I've ever heard that name actually said out loud. I think
Okay.
I've been saying Kulex in my head ever since I was a kid, but I actually don't know.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
And me, I am Hunter, and I am also here. Nintendo has surprised us, as usual, with their Nintendo Directs. And
Once
the
again.
Summer Game... Yeah, once again. The Summer Games Fest has continued. It's not over yet, guys.
Nope. There's always a last minute reveal at these things, and you all know that.
Usually, Nintendo does the one more things at the end of their Directs, but they decided to do the one more thing at the end of Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, and we were worried there at least I was worried there for a second that there were going to be a no-show, but nope, they had some surprises up their sleeves.
Yeah, I kind of thought, because they put out a few announcements for brand new games and stuff on Twitter, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like Everybody 1-2 Switch. That they put out, what was it? It was Everybody 1-2 Switch. There was a few games that they announced, and I was like, okay, so we're getting this instead of a proper, we're not getting a Nintendo Direct.
No showcase.
This Summer Games Fest season. You know, it was like they also tweeted a Pikmin 4 thing. So I was like, okay, yeah, we're definitely not seeing anything right now.
Yeah.
But then they come out with this Direct, and Pikmin 4 is in there. But like Everybody 1-2 Switch isn't, which they literally just announced.
Well, I don't know how many people are excited for 1-2 Switch or not. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it stays on Twitter.
I think it's kind of cool. I don't know, but it's definitely not
not what we got.
Yeah, no, it wasn't on here, and I don't think it's big enough to be. I don't know, because it's the first party Nintendo game, so I just kind of assumed it would be a Nintendo Direct. I don't know, whatever. We got some really cool stuff though.
Yeah, well, no, we definitely did. I am actually extremely excited to talk about a lot of this stuff.
So without further ado, we can just go ahead and get straight into it. We started the presentation off actually with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC info. We knew that the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero was coming out this year, and we finally got to see a bit more of it. We saw the Teal Mask DLC, which I think is planned for fall of 2023. And frankly, the Teal Mask looks kind of awesome. I think I probably like it more than the one that we saw of the Indigo Disc.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's based on like Japanese summer festival kind of culture, which I think is really cool, with like the masks and the outfits and everything. The outfits look kind of awesome.
It's very apt for the season.
Yeah, although it's coming out in fall, but
well, I mean, it's apt to show off for the season.
I think that there's fall festivals too, but I don't think that they're quite the same thing.
I'm
but
sure.
I think it looks super awesome, actually. I think that the new legendaries all look really cool, and like the big main legendary looks freaking sick.
It's so weird looking. It looks like something from Majora's Mask.
Yeah, but I kind of like it though, which makes sense because Japanese summer festival masks, and this is like the teal mask.
It looks like from like kind of a distance, it looks like a skinny Gengar is wearing a mask,
like a really skinny with the weird legs. I can kind of see that.
Yeah. I would actually be very happy if it turned out like, oh, it's the specific region's form of Gengar, and he's very skinny and he's wearing this mask.
He just became a legendary.
Yeah, it just became a legendary.
I think he looks kind of awesome. I kind of like him more than the other legendaries, honestly. He looks freaky, kind of. Yeah, kind of like Majora's Mask. I like him.
Yes, he looks like he could be a monster from the Happy Mask Salesman. Like he's hiding something.
He also just looks like he could be a Zelda villain, like a Zelda enemy. I don't know, I think it's kind of cool, actually. And then we also got the Indigo Disc, which looks kind of cool. I honestly probably more excited for Teal Mask. It looks like it's called the Blueberry Academy or something. It seems like some kind of extracurricular school thing. The terrarium is cool.
It reminds me of like I think in Japan they have like theme parks on the water. Looks
Hmm.
like that.
They do actually, yeah, in like outside of like Osaka and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, actually, that's probably loosely what it's based on. I was thinking of the area in Pokemon Sun and Moon is also like this kind of floating island, man-made island in the water. But it looks like this is like a school or something but it's also like a science research center.
Hmm.
I don't know. Looks cool. Just personally, probably a bit more interested in the Teal Mask, but we finally see that like secret third legendary that they've been really playing kind of coy about. Like, there's like also another legendary. Like the
Hmm.
whole idea behind Scarlet and Violet is like Scarlet is in the past and Violet is in the future. Each of the legendaries are based on the past version and future version of an existing Pokemon. So, but then what is the deal with this Indigo Disc Pokemon? Is like present day or alternate universe or what's the deal there? I think that's kind of cool.
It has all the elements on its back too, or the types.
Yeah. And maybe there's like some kind of Arceus situation going on.
Maybe it has a really cool skill involved where every time you hit it, it like changes its type.
That'd be
Maybe.
interesting. Huh. Yeah, we'll have to see more about this. Also, we can see the Teal Mask legendary kind of removing his mask and see him peeking
It's
out
Skull
behind.
Kid.
Is a lot like Skull Kid.
It's Skull Kid.
Skull Kid grass
It-
type.
and looking at his feet, I'll take back my Gengar comment. Definitely not Gengar, but it does remind me of Skull Kid.
He's wearing like those I forget what those Japanese sandals are called, but it kind of
Yeah.
looks like that except like leafy.
Hmm.
Looks interesting. Then after that, we got Sonic Superstars. I know that you're kind of excited for this one.
Yeah, so during the Summer's Games Fest, this has already been shown off quite a lot, but I just want to throw it back out there. It looks fun. They showed off more of, I believe, some of the modes that you're going to expect, as well as the whole 4 player. And oh, right there, they did show off that all. I guess each Chaos Emerald is going to give powers. Um, I'm not sure if
Yes.
it's. I guess. So I'm what they didn't show off is everybody going their super forms, which I'm also curious because not everybody we haven't seen everybody's super forms before. But I just want to throw it out there. Still excited to see this game. Glad it's coming out on Nintendo Switch, although
Mhm.
I may or may not get it on Nintendo Switch. But one we haven't seen is a new little game that I don't think I've seen before, nor really have I seen a game be inspired by in such a way. And that's Myth Force with its Saturday morning cartoon, and they made sure that you were well aware of what the inspiration was if you couldn't see it. It looks really fun, actually. I like the roguelike genre. It reminds me of like what would it be like if you played Skyrim, but a roguelike. I don't. It looks like fun. I would play it. I'm sure there's a few of my friends that would want to play it.
It's a multiplayer, I think, right?
It is multiplayer. Yep.
Yeah.
You go in with your friends and you just go dungeon crawling, and it looks fun, and and not like the in like a 3D environment that I don't know if I've really played before, but I like the way that everyone looks. It looks like it's straight out of He-Man in a lot of
Yeah.
these a lot of these cuts,
Those like
but
thin lines and like very like simple
very
color
like
schemes.
it, thin lines, simple color schemes, and like everybody's kind of like over the top in a way,
Yeah.
and
We have the furries
and
too.
but like they're furries, but they're also like menacing looking furries.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that does
Uh,
look like something out of He-Man. The face.
yes, look, it's straight from me, man.
The little
Man, and even
skulls too.
yeah,
No,
and
100%.
the leather wrap around them. That's so
Hmm.
80s.
Yeah, that's very early Saturday morning cartoon right there. That's kind of
Yeah,
awesome.
it is awesome. I actually am kind of looking forward to it. The one question I do have is this game going to be only on Switch? I don't think it is. But I haven't seen it elsewhere.
I don't think I've heard of this game at all up until
So
now, unless it was hidden away in some other Summer Games Fest thing.
I don't think I saw it in Summer's Games Fest. They
Yeah.
might have announced it, but I'm wondering if it's going to stick around with Switch or if it's going elsewhere. But it looks fun. Definitely one to check out.
And then we also have an exciting announcement, at least for me. I know that you didn't play the original Detective Pikachu, but
No, I did not.
we learned that there was a sequel for Detective Pikachu coming out on the Switch at some point, and we basically heard nothing about it up
For
until
years.
for years. Basically, the original Detective Pikachu came out, and then shortly after that, we got the movie. And then when the movie was releasing, when the movie was announced, they also announced, yeah, we're doing more Detective Pikachu games. And then now we're 4 years later, we're finally getting any information on it. Looks kind of cool. Looks awesome. I think that the Switch is showing its age a little bit, but maybe that's because they're still using the same models or something from the 3DS, or I don't know.
Yeah, I was actually impressed with the voice acting. It's funny. I like listening to them, especially Pikachu. I liked listening to Pikachu in the movie, and that's where most of my understanding of Detective Pikachu comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one of those games that I would watch someone play. I don't think I would play it myself. I would watch somebody play. And before people harp on me too much, I watched God of War Ragnarok because I was lazy and I didn't want to. I wanted to know the story before I got spoiled, and I just didn't want to go through a whole playing it myself experience. But for Detective Pikachu, I would do the very much the same thing. And
you heard it here first. Detective Pikachu Returns is on the same scale of God of War Ragnarok.
In a way,
according to Brad from the Low HP podcast.
You can quote me.
In the Accolades trailer, that's just one of the quotes.
Detective Pikachu Returns just as good as God of War Ragnarok.
Watched a Let's Play of it. Didn't play it.
I feel like a games journalist saying that. Didn't play the game, but I watched it. And here's my review.
Like a lot of games journalists, to be completely honest.
Yes.
Hey, we're games journalists now. We have a podcast and everything.
I'm not. Well, at least I play the game, so yeah, sure.
But not Detective Pikachu.
No, not that one.
And then we got, in my mind, the biggest announcement of this Direct, to be completely honest.
Oh, yes. Oh, I was so happy watching it. I was so happy just watching the sprites show up on screen, let alone what happened afterwards. I was in the middle of work and I had to stop everything that I was doing, go to my car, watch the whole Direct, because I didn't even know there was a Direct. I was very late to the game. So I watched the whole Direct. This showed up and I was screaming in my car.
Yeah.
Thank God this is getting a remaster. A remake. Not re-release, a remake. It's
complete remake.
And they're still keeping the soul of the game, but it looks so great, and it looks like there's cutscenes, and it looks so fun. So fun.
Yeah, the original game used pre-rendered 3D models as sprites, and that's like 2D sprites, but they don't need to do that anymore because this is a 3D, like the Nintendo Switch is capable of 3D. So
I would certainly hope so.
Yeah. So they're not using the like pre-rendered 3D models as 2D sprites. They're actually just using 3D models anymore because, technology has gotten better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Like we finally get like Geno and actual 3D, not a sprite.
And Mallow. I actually really like Mallow.
I really like the way that all of these characters look. Like,
yeah,
Geno looks wooden, but he still looks cartoony.
Yeah.
Like they managed to make everything look really good, actually.
I'm actually really surprised that the more chibi look of everyone, I'm so okay with. Normally, I don't like that chibi look, but for a game like this,
it looks like Mario RPG
in the past. Yeah, it looks like Mario RPG.
Yeah,
Bowser looks funny and cute in a way, like his chibi look.
Yeah.
And it's bringing me nostalgia. I'm really looking forward to it. My fiance has not played this game. We are going to do a whole playthrough of this one. Awesome. It's going to be really fun.
Well, I can't wait for her to play
I'm so looking forward. And the best part about it is that it's coming out in November. It's so close. It's this year. And it'll be a good Christmas.
We have two big, I want to say
drops.
Nintendo drops. I want to say we have two big holiday games coming out. A lot of these games are actually coming out like holiday, like late fall, early December, or early winter games. But I think that Super Mario RPG and another game that we'll be talking about later is kind of like the main games that we're getting for holiday season this year. And we were kind of, at least I was concerned about Nintendo's holiday season because I guess we have Metroid coming, but they haven't said anything about it. So maybe Metroid is the holiday game, but now we know.
I have no idea when Metroid coming out, but I am surprised that they were able to hold this from me for so long without me expecting it. I'm very, very happy.
This was leaked. This was leaked beforehand. Actually, a few of these things were leaked and rumored about, including the other big announcement that we'll get to. But
I must have done a really good job because I didn't see any of those leaks. So when I had a genuine experience seeing this, not expecting it, and I'm so happy I got to have that.
Frankly, I didn't even believe them.
I'm
kind of glad that they're happening.
Yeah, to be fair, so there's a lot of reasons not to believe some of those leaks.
Yeah. And then they kept going. They showed off a new game that I don't think anyone was really expecting. But Peach game.
I have been wanting another Peach game ever since Super Princess Peach, which, to my knowledge, is the only other Peach game that's out there. So it's due, and it looks pretty creative. It reminds me of, like, you know how Paper Mario kind of has a theme of it being in the theaters. It's very similar here, where it's all on a stage.
Same with Super Mario 3, I think.
Super Mario 3 also was Super Mario 3. Super Mario 2 was in a dream, but Super Mario 3 was also on a stage. Like the curtains roll up and everything, and that's how it's presented.
Yeah, I kind of like the stagecraft kind of look. Like she's using some kind of magic on this tree, but then you can see the flowers are popping out from behind the tree.
Yeah.
They're not just like magically appearing. Everything is like a play. I think that's super cool.
It's fun, it's unique, and it kind of makes me think, like, story-wise, either she's putting on a play for the Mushroom Kingdom, or maybe there's a monster that turned everything into a play. Maybe all of the Mushroom Kingdom, and then that's the story of the game. Which it's a Mario game. Stories are always kind of in the back burner, but
yeah,
that's what I'm thinking of.
They did mention when she steps on specific spots on stage, and specifically they said on stage, so it makes it feel like it's going to be like a play that she's putting on, or she's like a part of some kind of King Toadstool's play or something like that. I don't know.
Either way, it does look fun, like good old fun.
We know that it's releasing sometime next year. That's all they said, and that they'll share more details at a later date.
Yeah, we didn't even get a title, which I was really hoping that they would bring back that moniker of Super Princess Peach.
I'm kind of surprised that we didn't get a title.
Yeah.
Wait, they're just like, Peach is getting a game, and next. It's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess.
Wait, I had questions.
Yeah. They also showed off that Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, which is a 3DS title, is coming to the Switch. This is a weird one because I felt like Dark Moon was really made for the Switch. Include like the mission structure was more delivered kind of piecemeal. The 3DS. It was delivered a bit more piecemeal, like you're meant to do it in small chunks, like at your lunch break at work or in between classes or something like that. So
it was level structured, like you go through a level and then you beat the level and you can set it down from there, rather than, like, there is still exploration throughout the level, but it's more like, World 1-1 sort of thing.
Yeah, which I don't know. It seems interesting. Like, that seems like a perfect game to take on the go, to kind of absorb in bite-sized chunks like you do when you're playing a game on the go. But I'm glad that they're bringing it to the Switch. That's cool. More Luigi's Mansion on the Switch.
This is the one Luigi's Mansion game I have not played.
Okay.
I watched my brother play it. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I like the Luigi's Mansions where it's set in a place and you fully explore that area. So in the first game, it was a mansion. In the third game, it was a hotel. In this game, it's more about, here's your different worlds and go explore each level. It's a little different.
Mario, Luigi, and Peach all have their own games coming out.
This has definitely been a Mario Brothers Direct. They didn't say it, but it definitely feels like it.
This is very, very Mario. It's been very Mario, yeah. We got a couple of smaller games announced. I specifically really liked Silent Hope. I'm a pretty big fan of JRPGs, and this is like a action procedural dungeon JRPG type thing. I think it looks awesome. I like the cutscenes. Everything looks really cool. I think that the story is based on like everybody's lost their voice or something. Everyone like has lost the ability to speak. They're going through, which probably means like the cutscenes are going to be pretty minimal, which is frankly a big issue in JRPGs. So I don't think that that's necessarily a bad thing.
You kind of handicapped yourself a little bit, but all right.
Well, yeah, I think that a lot of people complain about the overly long cutscenes and stuff like that in JRPGs, though. So if they are able to cut back on that, especially since this seems like a bit more of a casual type experience, like procedural dungeons, you're going in and coming out, and going in and coming out. That's probably actually perfectly fine for a game like this. Except for like there's like a princess that is able to speak, and she speaks inside of your heads or something like that. I don't know. There's like the one character that's like probably like the Navi or something, like the companion character that speaks while you're playing the game, is my assumption.
This game reminds me of Crystal Chronicles. The one on not really the GameCube one, that one's very specific, but more the 3DS ones.
The DS, I think.
Sorry, DS.
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically play them on the 3DS.
You can play them, it's the same thing.
But yeah, it reminds me of the DS Crystal Chronicles games. Those were really fun. So,
gameplay wise, I can definitely see that, and kind of character wise, a chibi kind of art style.
Yes.
Yeah, I personally think that's really cool. We also have one more game that I'm kind of interested in. I went from knowing basically nothing about Dragon Quest to slowly becoming a Dragon Quest fan. I know that your fiance in particular is like really pushing me to play a bunch of different Dragon Quest games, specifically 8. And 8's like the one that I haven't gotten to yet.
I think that's the critically acclaimed one too.
Yeah, it's like the fan favorite. But we're getting a sequel to Dragon Quest Monsters, The Dark Prince. I think that this one looks freaking awesome. I love just seeing Akira Toriyama's art style, to be completely honest. And like
absolutely
Dragon Quest slimes and everything. But
it's hard to miss it. It's hard to miss his style. It's very appealing. I love the way he uses the jagged edges to draw his characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this just looks really cool. I don't know much about the Dragon Quest Monsters game, except that they exist. And this one is going to come out, and it exists. And is in I think we see the hero from Dragon Quest. What is it, Dragon Quest 3? The green one.
I have no idea. All I know is that one's in Smash.
Yeah. From Smash Brothers?
Oh my god, they got the one from Smash.
They got the Smash Brothers character in this game. So I actually
Where's Goku?
And then we got Nintendo's... You see, I thought that this would be big enough, at least in Miyamoto's mind and my mind, for a holiday release, but it's actually coming out in next month, actually. I think like exactly a month from now, which is Pikmin 4.
I also found it a little interesting that we haven't seen Miyamoto in this direct either. This is a pretty big direct. There was no Miyamoto.
And this is a very Miyamoto direct.
Yeah.
Mario and a pretty long spot just talking about Pikmin.
Yeah. He loves Pikmin.
Yeah, he wanted Pikmin to be like one of the main pillars of Nintendo. It wasn't, but he really likes Pikmin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything from Miyamoto, but this game looks awesome. I'm a pretty big Pikmin fan. I really like how they're pushing the real like world post-apocalyptic thing element.
Mm-hmm.
It was very light in the first few Pikmin games. It's like, yeah, you see some like bottles or something, but you get the idea like, oh, is this like, are we really small? But then that's it. But like in this game, we're inside of houses and stuff. At first, like we saw other trailers and we're like, oh, we're like in a human garden. Cool.
Yeah.
They're like really pushing the the human angle, like this is Earth or something part of it. Now
it's quite clearly Earth. You're grabbing a Game Boy.
Yeah, it's just that's really cool.
It's funny that they tried playing it off as this distant planet, and it's just some kid's backyard.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I don't know what we're playing as specifically. I know we're like a build your own character, but then there's two races in Pikmin that are both kind of similar. I forget their names. Like there's they're two different races. There's like the race that Olimar is, and then there's the race from Pikmin 2 and 3. And it looks like you're looking for Olimar, kind of like Pikmin 3. So, and Pikmin 2 for that matter. So I'm kind of confused. Are we going back to the Pikmin 1 race? Like they were going back to like the Olimar race? And then this part is really interesting to me, Pikmin lore wise, because Pikmin had an alternate ending, the bad ending basically, where
the first one.
Yeah, the first Pikmin
yourself.
Yeah, and then like the Pikmin like absorb Olimar's body and then plant him, and then he becomes a Pikmin or something? Question mark? What does that mean for him? He's not wearing his helmet anymore, so is he able to breathe the air now? What? Is he just a Pikmin? Can anyone be a Pikmin? What were the Pikmin if they're not Pikmin then? There's a lot of lore questions about that alternate ending. And here we see Olimar as a Pikmin. Is this the alternate ending Olimar? Because he has the little dog guy, except he's like reverse colored, but then his hair is all heavy, his face is all heavy or hairy, and then but you see his little nose and his little Olimar eyes. Like, what's happening?
Are they doing the split Zelda timeline thing with Pikmin now?
Yeah, like what's is this like alternate bad universe, like the DC Dark Universe or something? Like, what's happening here?
I also find it fun looking what looks to be the multiplayer or head-to-head multiplayer segment. Yeah. I know that there's that might be part of the story, and you might face up against a computer or the fake Olimar, but that is quite clearly a multiplayer aspect.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's kind of cool, like these either challenge or multiplayer or something parts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm personally really excited for this game.
I know my brother is going to be very excited for this game. He's actually been going through each of the Pikmin games with his girlfriend, leading up to this game. And
then I forgot about this. You can upgrade your little dog guy. Oh. That's cool. Upgradability. Like there's something to use all of your treasures and stuff on. Like you exchange it for these coins or something to upgrade yourself, upgrade your dog, so that way you guys have different abilities. And then we got a little bit more info on the Dark World, and then these little guys, the glow Pikmins.
They're cute.
Look at their stupid little eyes. I love them. This is so cute.
One looks like one looks normal, one looks like a emerald on his eye or something. It's funny.
I don't know what's going on. I love it.
It's funny.
They're so cute. And then they could like go into like an orb or something, then explode. I don't know. It's so weird.
Nintendo's making bank on their toys and plushies.
I would love little toys of these, actually. So yeah, definitely, they're making bank on me. People like me.
It's so close. I didn't even look at the release date. It's next month.
That's what I was saying. It's coming out like a month from today. We also got the announcement that Pikmin 1 and 2 are coming out on the Switch. They're $50 for the both of them, or you can get them for $30 each. I feel like that's okay pricing, personally. I think on the Wii U, they were like $20 each. So at $25 for each of them, I think that's probably fine. I know that you're not super happy about that, but
it's less happy. It's more about it's not necessarily happy. It's more like I like Pikmin, but I'm not gonna spend that money for the old games. There's other games that I like more, like Mario RPG.
I can understand that. I think this also has Pikmin 4 also has a demo available, on June 28th, which is actually next week.
Okay,
a week from today, we have a demo coming out.
That'll be worth trying out. This is a long time coming, but there's more maps and more characters for Mario Kart 8.
This is the Wave 5 of the DLC, right?
Yeah, it's actually quite amazing how much more content we are getting from Mario Kart 8, being as old as it is if you count the Wii U version, because whew, it's been years. But it's cool to see all these characters come back. It's literally going to be a really full roster. One thing that I do want to note, I'm pretty sure the that's Kamek, not comic. It was pronounced weird in the direct.
Are those two different characters?
No, it's the whoever was speaking over said Kamek's name weird.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, comic? Like a comic book. And I'm like,
Oh,
that's not right. No. I don't know. It set me off weird.
I
But
noticed that they said Square Enix as Square Enix also. I've always said
I
Kamek too, so
I doubt it. I think it's Kamek. I think he was wrong. But
okay.
either way, it's cool. It's cool that he's in there. I really like that PD Piranha's back. It reminds me of Double Dash and King Boo and Peter Piranha were the two that I liked playing the most. The map is kind of cool. It's not my biggest fan, although I do like that they're using the 8-bit sprites in the background as like the wallpaper for the actual bathroom.
That's kind of fun, yeah.
It's fun looking. It's cool enough. It's not my favorite one, but then again, there's gonna be 3 more maps. I'm sure there's gonna be one that I like out of them.
Mm-hmm. Is that we got a Mario Kart 7 character? Like Mario
Wiggler?
Kart DS?
I really do think by the end of it, they're just gonna have basically the all of Mario Kart in one game by the end of it.
Yeah, Mario Kart DS was like the main other game, like Mario game that I really heavily played.
DS or the one on the 3DS?
DS.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, this
DS
is 3DS. My bad.
Yeah, that's the 3DS one.
So yeah, more Mario Kart content. It's cool.
Always fun. I'll look forward to playing it.
And then we got an interesting one for me. I really like the Square Enix,
Squaresoft.
Square. They're like HD 2D games that they've been going for. I think that style is just really, really beautiful. And I never played any of the Star Ocean games. Those are some of those weird early releases where I think there was like some online functionality to them. So I'm not really sure how this game works exactly, but I'm interested to see how they turn out. I think that all the artwork is beautiful, like all the character portraits and everything too.
Yeah, I really like
beautiful.
the lighting.
The lighting, the 3D landscape, like the texture on the beds, like
it looks good.
Those beds looked like fabric. Despite
Yeah.
the kind of tilt shift effect that's going on, you can tell what everything is supposed to be. The wood looks like wood. This is like stucco, like
Yeah,
it looks good. Everything
they did
looks
a really good job on this, and you know what? They've been doing this art style justice for a little while now.
Yeah, man, I just like how responsive the sprites look and everything.
This isn't necessarily straight up a turn-based game, is it? It looks like you're running around, or how? I don't know how this game plays.
Yeah, I've never played the original Star Ocean game, so I don't know exactly how, like, what the deal with this game is. I'm excited to see how this game turns out. So I'm most likely going to play it, actually. Star Ocean is one of those things that I was never really able to get into before, but I'm going to give it a shot.
WarioWare Move It. The WarioWare games are always known for just like the casual mini game experience, and it's essentially packaged as a whole game like that.
Yeah.
It's goofy, and I love it. And some of the best memories I have with this game is playing it on the Wii, especially when you really get into it. Like, yes, you can cheese it by just, swinging the Wii remote or in this case, the Joy-Con controllers.
Mm-hmm.
But if you really get into it and do what they're asking you to do, it can be a very fun experience. But it is definitely a party game. It's kind of weird just to play it by yourself, shake it around like but it's very, very, very fun, especially in a party. And people going around having a good time, have a little bit of stuff to drink. You'll really get the get the game going.
Was there Pikmin in here? Hang on a second.
Yes.
Oh
there
my
was.
gosh, he's plucking Pikmin.
And there was a Super Mario 64 reference in there too, specifically the DS version.
Yeah, I like how one of the mini games is literally just turning in like Super Mario in like Mario 64. That's super funny. They also showed off a little bit more of some Zelda Tears of the Kingdom news. I was expecting like a DLC announcement or something. It
Yeah,
still kind of feels a bit early for something like that. But like
it did.
Breath of the Wild had DLC, so I don't know. But it looks like we're finally getting more amiibo. I thought it was kind of weird how Breath of the Wild had so many different amiibos. There was like the Guardian amiibo and the Bokoblin and like 3 different Links. But
Link on a horse, Link
Yeah.
firing an arrow, Link sitting there on the toilet. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot. There was a lot. But I mean, these amiibo do look really good. There's Big Daddy Ganon,
Yeah,
and
Zelda.
there's Zelda looking a little worse for wear there in terms of what she's looking like.
This is a specific part of the story. Technically, both of these are specific parts of the story, but I think that these both look super cool. I like the detailing on the on her like dress and stuff, and the looking at the Master Sword, kind of like in recovery mode.
Yeah, it's
And
really
then
cool. And then
Ganondorf
Ganon
looks
just
sick.
it's I can't even say he's posing in menacingly. It's more like posing as though he was like people are trying to put him in a JC Penney's catalog.
This is basically the hero pose, which is basically what all of those kind of poses are.
It's interesting. It's fun. I like it. Eventually, I'll get those amiibos.
I like the ground part too.
It's really cool. They're putting a lot of details into these.
Yeah.
When they did show this off in the trailer or in the direct, I thought there was going to be more Zelda news, and I was actually sitting there like, "Oh my god, do I shut this off? Are they going to start spoiling things?" Because I'm not quite done yet. I was like, I don't even know if it's been I think it's been a full month, but it's barely been a month. I'm glad it was just the amiibo. I'm like, whew,
Yeah.
whew, good. You're not showing me DLC quite yet.
To be fair, these are story moments. I mean, we already have this pose from
Yeah, I
from
think
like
we've
before
seen
the
these.
game launched. We had like this was the Ganondorf artwork that we got. This though, the Zelda, that is we didn't see that before the game launched, and we're seeing this now. And I realize why. It's because this is literally a scene from the game that they didn't show before. So
Mhm.
that could be a spoiler for some people. Granted, it's fairly early in the story, but at least they're showing like a little while after release, you know?
Yeah. At least they gave us some time.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that they were going to show off like any actual major spoilers. I think that they know that people are like 200 hours into the game and still haven't beaten it yet.
Yeah.
So, which is where I'm at. I think I'm like 180 or something hours, 190. That was a few days ago, so probably more now. Hours in the game. I still don't have the defeat Ganon quest or defeat Ganondorf or whatever the equivalent is in this game.
My last playthrough, I just got something like that. So it's like it takes a while. My fiance is still playing it. She's still not done with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I still think people are roaming Hyrule right now.
Yeah, exactly. And then we had the one more thing, the big
Yep.
announcement for holiday season this year. We have a brand new 2D Mario game.
It looks so fun. And I already know all the jokes that everybody has been saying online. It's Super Acid Brothers. It's Mario taking drugs. He's on a trip. And I'm like, yes. And I'm sure Nintendo was aware in some way, shape, or form. You're not creative, but you're also not wrong.
Also, I think this is kind of, really like the art style. I think that the tech art people probably had a lot of fun with this because they're 3D models, but they're animated as 2D models.
Yeah.
I think that that's
It-
really interesting.
It looks so good. And honestly, it looks better to me than the new Super Mario Brothers look.
Yeah.
I like this more than the new Super Mario Brothers look. It looks more lively, it looks more cartoony in a way, but also it lets you be really free form with what it is you're trying to convey on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It's I don't know. I'm sure people who take art classes can actually explain to me what it is that I'm trying to say.
It's a 2D representation of like, but it's still like a 3D model. It's kind of interesting. And I am kind of confused because Goombas are supposed to be like chestnuts, right?
Sure.
That's what they're like supposed to be. but everyone thinks that they're like mushrooms. But then, so those are regular looking Goombas. And then
Mhm.
later we have these guys that look way more chestnut like.
Those are from Super Mario World. They were enemies of that one. So in Super Mario
Okay.
World, they didn't have Goombas. They had those things.
Okay. Interesting. So this just has both chestnut enemies in them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're kind of Goomba-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, they're basically Goombas. I just thought that was interesting. But yeah, I don't know how tech art did something like that. I don't work in tech art, but this art style just looks super cool.
It looks really fun. The only other one that I can kind of compare it to on the top of my head is Rayman, the latest
Huh.
Rayman games.
Okay.
It looks somewhat similar to that, although between the two, I think this looks better.
Yeah, it's like this paper craft, but you can still clearly tell that they're 3D models. So I don't know. Yeah, looks awesome.
Nintendo's getting very creative.
There was the big gimmick of this game, the Wonder Flower, where basically
The
you're
acid
tripping
trip.
acid.
it the whole game becomes just weird and wonky, and you don't necessarily know what's going to happen until it does.
I like this
It's
little
fun.
worm. I like the worm. It's just a pipe. And this is literally something that like the Beatles sang about. This. I don't know. I think this is awesome.
I think it's really fun. I'm really glad that they're figuring out ways to differentiate itself from the Super Mario Maker games,
Mm-hmm.
because people were obviously thinking, now that we have Mario Maker, what are you going to do with 2D Marios? Like, we can make everything now. And
Yeah.
Nintendo's like, no, you can't. We can. No, you can't. Watch this.
That's kind of cool. We see a few different playable characters: Peach, Daisy, and Toad.
Daisy's a surprise. And later on, it shows off Yoshi's being played too.
And Luigi.
So it's being, you can ride Yoshi's and play them.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of so like what? Like oh yeah. Wait, hang on.
So you can ride a Yoshi there, and then later in the trailer, you actually see the Yoshis as being playable.
Can Yoshi ride a Yoshi?
Maybe. I don't see why not. It looks fun. It looks really fun. It's kind of like, see right here, all the Yoshis are playable. And it kind of, honestly, it's kind of that graphical or like art style change or flip that you saw when, somebody played Super Mario World and then they played Yoshi's Island. That's the kind of like differences I'm kind of seeing here from New Super Mario Brothers. This looks like the Yoshi's Island of the New Super Mario Brothers, which this is not a new Super Mario Brothers game. It seems like it's going to be its own thing, either a one-off or a whole new series.
Well, this is Super Mario Bros. The title card is Super Mario Bros.
No, new Super Mario Bros.
Oh no,
it's not one of.
Yeah.
It's not the new Super Mario Brothers one. I think they might be done with that.
Which was a weird prefix to put in front of Super Mario Bros. Anyway. So this is weird.
Yeah,
this is like a toad, and the idea is that it's a toad like coming out of like the thing to like at the end of the level, but then it's like. Mm-hmm. Has like this weird swirly head. Is this from something?
I think this might be specific to this game because I have not seen that. It's not quite a toad.
Yeah.
And maybe this has something to do with the fact that Daisy's now playable in the game. Maybe you're not in the Mushroom Kingdom. Maybe you're in Sarasa Land or something.
Okay. I don't know, maybe. We see like what looks like Sarasa Land in the background.
They're pipes. I like it.
Yeah.
All of it are pipes. It's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I felt like Nintendo was kind of missing a Mario game this year when they really, really needed it. Especially like they just had the movie. It would be such a waste of potential. Like what, you're going to do the Mario movie? Mario is in everyone's heads. Everyone's thinking about Mario. You want the Switch to sell quite a bit more units, probably. It's on its way to the
There's a whole Nintendo land right now.
Yeah.
Along with the Mario movie. You want to have a Mario game this year.
Yeah, and we just kept seeing nothing. And now we finally are getting some Mario stuff. I think that I was hoping for a 3D Mario, and I was expecting like a successor to Odyssey or something.
Yeah.
And I think that would have done better, but this is more people's like public consciousness version of Mario, like the 2D platforming Mario. Like this is the game that like your mom played, So I think that this probably makes a little bit more sense in that aspect. I just think that I would have been a little bit more excited to see like an Odyssey successor. Personally.
I am happy right now to see either one. I so far, except for the Wii, we have seen one 3D Mario game in every console generation. The Wii had both. I take that back. Except for the Wii U. It didn't last long enough to get its title.
Super Mario Bros. U.
Oh, that's right. It's technically 3D. Huh?
Yeah. Oh, well.
It's more like a level structure. It's not quite what I meant, but I guess technically you're right. It is a more 3D Mario experience.
Yeah.
But I think we mean more of an adventure game rather than the platformer.
Yeah, that game was kind of weird. So
I liked it for what it was, but I liked it better when it was on the 3DS, not the Wii U.
Yeah, it didn't feel like a 3D platformer. It felt, for some reason, like a 2D platformer. It was
like the
whack.
It was meant to be a traditional Mario Brothers experience, but like done in 3D.
Yeah. It wasn't the same thing as like Mario 64 or Galaxy or Odyssey.
We wanted that. We didn't
Sunshine.
We didn't want the U version.
Yeah.
Which and it's coming out so soon as well. Literally within a month of Mario RPG.
Yeah, and Mario games tend to be pretty short, so I think it kind of makes sense. You know, you're releasing this a few weeks before, like a month before Mario RPG. I think that kind of makes sense because people are going to play this game, and then you have a brand new Mario game that honestly probably everyone is talking about coming out a month later.
And it'll probably take you longer. This game I could definitely see myself beating over the course of a weekend.
Yeah,
in its entirety.
Exactly, yeah. Like one long play session or something. I mean, I don't know. The game isn't out yet. We don't know about the play length. But it's like a 2D Mario.
I'm sure I will beat it from a Friday to a Sunday. In its entirety. I will beat it.
And then we have
pretty good at these games.
Yeah. And then we have probably the biggest, weirdest part. We have Elephant Mario.
I love it. My fiance hates it. She thinks it's disgusting for some reason. But I think it's so funny.
I can't wait for all of the Peach fan art.
Oh,
all of the Elephant Peach fan art. You know what's going to happen.
I'm good.
It's
I don't need to go on. I don't need to go on DeviantArt today.
Now that we've recovered and had ourselves a little chat, what did you think?
Leave us a comment on YouTube and like the episode.
That really helps us out.
We're also on Twitter and Instagram at the Low HP Podcast if you want to reach out there.
And subscribe if you want to catch more of us on YouTube.
We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Links in the show notes as always.